What if Palossand was in Gen 1 OU? After going after the Rotom forms, and with those all being ghost types, I'm actually glad I'm going after another one almost immediately, because Palossand here is way more interesting. When it comes to move pool, typing, and stats, there's just a lot more to talk about. And while he doesn't have as good coverage, I would say Hypnosis alone gives him a better move pool. And not even just Hypnosis alone, he also has Shore Up, a signature move that allows him to heal. That's also really good. And also being a ghost type, as you can imagine, that might have its usefulness. It's immune to Hyper Beam, Body Slam, Explosion, Slash. And since you're a ground type too, you're immune to Thunder Wave. So being immune to both Thunder Wave and Body Slam means outside of Stun Spore, and I think Glare, you're pretty much immune to all types of paralysis, which is huge. It's pretty cool actually. Not to mention you have pretty good stats for the time. 85 speed's pretty average, but 110 defense is good. And you might not think it might be as good since you're not hitting normal moves anyways, but that's still good for Earthquakes, mostly from Rhydon and Snorlax. It's nice that you can tank those pretty well. And 75 special defense is even that bad, since that's as strong as Tauros' special. And 100 special attack is pretty good. It means with Stab, Earthquake, and Psychic, you're a pretty good mix attacker. And even that speed, well, maybe it could be better. At the very least, that allows you to outspeed Slowbro. So being faster than Slowbro with Hypnosis is quite frankly the only reason why the Slowbro matchup isn't unwinnable. So I would say Palossand has pretty perfect stats. Maybe you could take a little bit of defense and put it into attack, but I don't think Palossand cares that much. It's already pretty bulky. It's probably going to put Sunny to sleep anyways. So it's very good. Some other moves it can have is Amnesia, Rock Slide, Mega Trade, and Rest. But something tells me only one of these you guys want to hear about. So how come I'm not putting Amnesia as a mainstay? Well, the main reason is simply you can't really. It's a really good move, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's worth getting rid of Hypnosis. Obviously, Shore Up and Earthquake are mainstays, and you can't really run Amnesia without Psychic, so there's nothing you really want to get rid of. You're seriously missing out, and I don't even think there's that much of a benefit. You need to understand that not only is Snorlax with Amnesia Lex kind of falling off a little bit, but there's a reason why Slowbro is the main Amnesia user by far, and that's because along with its really good defense of 110, you need to understand that it being a Psychic type is a huge reason why it's so good. For any Amnesia users such as Snorlax, Palossand, or whatever else you can think of, a big problem is Pokemon like Alakazam or Starmie that can hit really hard and get a crit. Slowbro, if it gets crit and it gets its special lowered, it doesn't care too much. It can tank it really easily and can just go for another Amnesia immediately afterwards. Meanwhile, for Palossand, if it gets hit with an Alakazam crit, not only is that doing a heck of a lot of damage, if you're getting a special drop immediately after that, that is kinda game over. Because at that point, you've taken so much damage that you either won't be able to heal in time, or you can heal, but you won't be able to set up those Amnesias back. So it's really not worth it. It sucks though, because for some Pokemon, such as Executor, Amnesia helps you do significantly better. And the fact that it has it is pretty good. I guess if any move you could get rid of, it would be Hypnosis, which I wouldn't really recommend, but it's nice that you can throw them off guard sometime. But even then, you set up max Amnesia, but then what? You're hitting with a neutral Psychic? It's fine. It's going to do pretty good damage, but I'd rather just use Swelber with Amnesia and hitting with a Stab Surf, if I'm being honest with you. But it's up to you. But I would like to remind you that in tradebacks, Persian has Amnesia, but it doesn't run it because Slash, Hypnosis, Thunderbolt, and Bubble Beam are just way too important. So, just take what I say with a grain of salt. This Palossand will be in Generation Jumble Season 3, Summertime 11. So, that will be a good test to see what's truly better between Amnesia and Hypnosis. And I had a VC with like you guys, and you guys definitely seem to like Amnesia Palossand. So we'll have to see how it goes. By the way, you should join the Discord server. The link is in the description of this video, and I have a lot of talks there, a lot of VCs. We play in tournaments, we test out what if scenarios, and you guys can just. That's usually where you convince me to. Like, think of a cool what-if scenario. But enough about that. Let's go into the replays, shall we? Starting off with the boy himself, Tauros. Wizard is a 2-hit KO, probably a 3-hit KO, depending on the damage range. A crit obviously kills, but a special drop could help you a lot. A Hypnosis could help you a lot, but a crit can be fatal. So, I think even without Hypnosis, could go either way. Just the threat of Hypnosis alone probably makes this a more favorable matchup for Palossand. Since unlike Gengar, I feel like. Well, actually, no, I guess there's not really much of a difference. Because Gengar is weak to Earthquake, Palossand's weak to Blizzard. If something's already put to sleep, obviously Tauros does significantly better. But it's not the worst. Look, I'd probably say Palossand might be able to put up a better fight than Gengar. But it's hard to tell. And then Snorlax. Any physical Snorlax set's not gonna have a good time, because it can only hit Palossand with Earthquake. Which, as you can see there, does practically nothing. So Palossand can just do whatever it wants against the Snorlax, and then it will just die. It can. Honestly, going for Psychic's probably just better, since no matter what, nothing wants to switch in on a special drop. So that's funny. And pretty neat, since Gengar kind of has severe Earthquake. So it doesn't even need Hypnosis for the most part. If you completely got rid of it, yeah, I guess you probably would use Amnesia. But then again, Mega Drain for Rhydon. Ooh, that sounds spicy, doesn't it? You probably don't care. What you do probably care about is Amnesia Lax. And this is where I just want to talk about how it's kind of weird doing videos with Pokemon with sweep moves. Because it's really hard to kind of rank that. Because technically with Sleep, you beat every single thing in the game. Even Mewtwo, you could put to Sleep and keep going for Earthquakes until it eventually faints. So, it's... The way I like to rank it is more so... Just having the threat of Sleep is more so what's going to determine the viability. So, Amnesia Lax probably wouldn't set up in front of a Palossand, since Palossand is ever so slightly faster and has Hypnosis. But if there's already Pokemon put to sleep, Snorlax can set up very easily, and there's not much Palossand can do to it. This is just a long way of saying the matchup is could go either way, which you probably expected because it's Snorlax. And Chansey, Ice Beam is a 2-hit KO, just like Blizzard, so you kind of need a Hypnosis, which sucks. But on the bright side, even though Ice Beam's a 2-hit KO, it's not always guaranteed. So you can heal up, you can do decent damage with Earthquake, and I guess this could be a scenario where Amnesia could be better, but even then, you're like having to take 2 Ice Beams minimum before you can even heal up, which means you can risk a potential crit or a freeze. So Hypnosis just sounds better. But even then, this just seems like a very annoying matchup, because of just how unreliable Hypnosis is. So I'm just gonna say kinda meh. It's annoying for all parties involved. And then Zam. It can't paralyze Palossand, but that might be kind of worse, as it's going straight for the kill. Both Earthquake and Psychic are 3-hit KO. However, Psychic has a much better chance of critting. Maybe I'm being nice, but I'm going to put this in could go either way, since Zam can't always crit, and obviously Palossand has a healing move of its own. And I guess, even if you're not using Psychic, if you go for Amnesia, you do significantly better. So it's I don't know how to rank it. This one, on the other hand, is incredibly easy to rank. But I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because Cloyster's faster, it has both Clamp and Blizzard. Maybe it's the fact that it's super tanky physically. So even if you did put it to sleep, you just have to fish for special drops. Can't put my finger on it. But something tells me Cloyster has a good matchup here. Now, Executor was weird. I didn't bother with the one where Executor puts Palossand to sleep, because I think we can all figure out how that goes. So I wanted to see what it was like for Amnesia versus Executor. And I guess one huge thing to keep in mind is Palossand is immune to both Double Edge and Explosion. And Mega Drain I do not think will be good enough to use on Palossand. So for all intents and purposes, the only thing Executor can use on Palossand is Psychic. So with Amnesia here, you can actually stall out most of the Psychics. And eventually, once you're in a good position, start hitting them back yourself. Which, once you have max special, and yes, with 3.5, you do have 999 special, you have, like, you're doing a 4 KO, which is pretty good. As you can see there, Earthquake and a non-boosted Psychic do absolutely nothing. So I didn't know how to rank this. It was kind of awkward. And that was just using Amnesia. And like I said before, I don't think Amnesia is actually the play, despite it looking good there. So what about without it? Unlike with Sweet Powder, I did feel it was worth going over Hypnosis Palossand, since I feel like it's more interesting to see, okay, is Sweep so broken in Gen 1 that even with only resisted hits like Psychic and Earthquake, is it still enough to 1v1 an Executor? You're going to find out the answer in a little bit, but as we're waiting, I just want to say, I am currently at 975 subscribers, and I want to make it to 1,000 before May. It is currently April 22nd, and if you like the video and subscribe, you very well might be the person that can help me get to 1,000, and I would really appreciate that. The support means the world to me, and I think we can do it. Because whenever I do get like a video that does decently well, the subscriber count grows pretty quickly. So also be sure to comment. And yeah, you just saw there, Sweep is so broken in Gen 1 that Palossand can 1v1 an Executor. It had to use a, I guess not that many power points, it just had to use, what, 8? But that's still kind of crazy if you ask me. And here's the last one. This one's rather quick. I just want to see what happens if both Pokemon can't put the other to sleep. And Executor being faster, having a stronger Psychic, and having a better crit rate, means that it can probably win 1v1. It will be very weird if the Palossand ends up getting special luck without the Executor. But if that does happen, you do have Shore Up. It's not what I would have expected. I definitely was going to just put Executor in unwinnable and just call it a day. But I think after seeing those 3 replays, I think it's fair to say that this is a could go either way, which I don't think anyone saw coming, if you're asking me. Now for Gengar, you're weak to Earthquake, and both of your Sweep moves are as reliable as the other, so Gengar got pretty lucky here. But overall, I'm going to say it's probably a good matchup. Granted, there's like a basically a 0% chance Palossand goes for an critical Earthquake, which means Gengar will have more opportunities to go for Hypnosis. But does he even risk that? Because if Palossand goes for Hypnosis instead, and if that hits, you're definitely kind of screwed. And it's not like you can hurt Palossand with Thunderbolt. Even Psychic would do good damage now that I think about it. And speaking of good damage, yeah, this is Jolteon versus a ground type. I do not know what you were expecting. Or actually, I'll take that back. I've had some replays where I've given Jolteon Hydro Cannon just for the heck of it. So you know what? I hope when it comes to Jolteon, you genuinely have no idea what's gonna happen. Same with Rhydon. Because with the Ludicolo video I did yesterday, you didn't see it, but I gave that Rhydon Mega Horn. So, if that Ludicolo missed Razor Leaf or something, it would have taken some serious damage. But that's not really Gen 1. But I don't care, because I want you guys to be surprised sometimes. Which I don't think I can do here, unfortunately. Or maybe I can. With Sweep, Palossand can actually two-shot the Jinx. But there's Freezing with Blizzard. There's Critical Hits, which happen a pretty good amount of the time. And Jinx being a safe starter itself. So Palossand did alright in that replay. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a bad matchup. I would not ever recommend staying in going for Hypnosis unless you absolutely have to. And Rhydon being faster than you is actually pretty annoying, since you both 3-hit KO each other. Though granted, Palossand does have healing, so maybe Hypnosis isn't actually needed. But who knows? All I know is that if you really want to beat the Rhydon, you should tech in Mega Drain instead of Shore Up. That sounds like a wonderful idea. And next off, we have, I believe this is Swobro. Yeah. You're faster. But you need to be careful, because it just takes one Amnesia to OHKO you with Surf. And Swobro has the exact same defense you do. So it's really tanky. And it's not what you want to risk. So, there's not much I can really say here. Other than I'm not sure Palossand would use Night Slash if it got the chance. Do you think it would? I don't know. Probably not. Or not Night Slash, I mean Night Shade. Also, since I was curious, here's what happens if Palossand has Amnesia instead. So while we're waiting these two set up, I just want to say, the Sun and Moon Elite 4 Ghost Trainer, they do use Palossand, right? I wasn't sure what to use for the music for this video, and I'm pretty sure that's something that they have. But as you can see there, Surf does a lot of damage. So even though I wasn't planning on doing it originally, I just kind of went for Hypnosis. Just to see how much Mega Drain does, and I can see there, it does practically nothing. So don't bother using it if you're ever going to use Amnesia. You're better off just using a really weak, or not weak, Psychic is pretty good damage, but I guarantee you, Evil and Max Special. Oh no, you literally saw. You saw with Max Special with Executor. It only did a 4th. Do you think it's going to do better against, let's say, Alakazam? Probably not, buddy. 2 more replays left. And these ones, or at least with this next one here with Starmie, you can probably guess how this is going to go. You absolutely hate Blizzard, and you're not risking Hypnosis. Because Starmie is just, it's probably going to crit you anyways. So just don't bother. It's never worth it. Just stick to using it against the normal types in the... Actually, now that I think about it, you could take Earthquakes pretty well, except for Rhydon, but you have recovery, so you can always beat that. So I guess Palossand can just literally take on every single physical attacker in the game, including Zapdos, like we're about to see right now. Jarell Peck, with a crit, doesn't even do half. So Hypnosis isn't even required to win this fight. You have the recovery to where you can 1v1 it just using Psychic. So going for Hypnosis here is just kind of flexing, to be honest. You have enough Psychics where you can definitely beat the Zapdos 1v1. And it can't paralyze you, so it can't dream of getting a free turn against you either. So all it can do is go for Ropex, but even a crit, Palossand can survive, and even 2 crits in a row, Palossand can heal the damage off of. So there's nothing really Zapdos can do. And I guess in that situation, Palossand being slower is actually a big benefit, since the turn always ends with a healing off. That sounds pretty good. And I think this needs to move to great, now that I rewatched that replay. But outside of that, here's the tier list. That is a lot of things and could go either way. And they vary. Well, actually, no, this probably goes to good matchups as well. Now that I think about it, because of shore up. Still, though, everything could go either way. I'm gonna say can beat you when it comes to just straight up hacks. And Hypnosis is not gonna be enough to beat all of them. Definitely not to take care of all of them in one game. The things that are unwinnable and bad matchups can technically be beaten if you have Hypnosis and you don't get unlucky. But I don't think it's fair to rank that in terms of Palossand's viability. But I think it's pretty easy to tell that it would be pretty good. Better than Gengar? I don't know. Palossand's a much bulkier Hypnosis user, sure, but Gengar's faster and has Explosion. Both of which are very valuable tools, but I guess Explosion becomes inherently less valuable when you have Palossand in the format, because now you have two Ghost types, and both work very differently, so it's not even like you're hindering yourself by using both on the same team. So I don't know, I think that's kind of interesting. What do you think? Do you think Palossand would be better than Gengar in Gen 1 OU? Do you think I'm wrong? And do you think Palossand would only be an underused? And do you think that Palossand... Where do you think it would be in the viability rankings? And do you think that Amnesia is actually worth it on Palossand? Or do you agree with me that Hypnosis is too good, and the other moves are just way too valuable to get rid of? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to join the Discord server. Be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.